Hey everybody, welcome to Malt Music Whiskey Reviews. I'm Eric. On the bar for today, Ledaig, 18 years old, single malt Scotch whiskey distilled on the Isle of Mull. As always, no taste finish review of this is coming your way. I'll tell you a bit about the value, give you my final thoughts, a final score, and of course leave you with a malt musing. Before we do all that, you know the drill. If you've yet to, appreciate a subscription. And make sure you don't miss these reviews. I drop them every Friday here on the YouTube. I also have a Tuesday happy hour every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Would love to see you there. Ledaig comes out of the Tobermory distillery. It is their peated line. It is on the island of Mull. So if you are a person who follows the regions, this is a islands whiskey. The stuff itself, Tobermory, I believe, is the only distillery currently operating over there on the Isle of Mull. As for the tail of the tape here on the Ledaig 18, let's take a peek at this bottle. It is a Ledaig looking bottle for sure. So this is a peated malt. Here on the bottle, it says peated. It's aged, matured in superior oak wood casks and finished in Spanish sherry. So probably ex-bourbon, ex-sherry combination going here. It is bottled at 46.3%. And right here on the bottle, it says it is not chill filtered. It does not, however, state anything about color. So they may be adding a little color to this. That said, gives you a little bit of information here. It's kind of the same stuff printed on the bottle and some tasting notes, which we don't need to look at. One more look at that label. For those keeping score at home, this is batch 3. So it does appear that they do these in batches. And I believe this was the last batch that came out in this large wooden box. They have since switched to a cardboard box. I honestly kind of appreciate, because unless you need to store a bunch of stuff in it, there's not a ton of use for these, but would love to hear your opinion about packaging and what you do with it. Okay, so it's 18 years old. It is non-chill filtered. It's 46.3%, and it may have some coloring added. Let's check out this bourbon sherry matured peated whiskey from Tobermory, the Ledaig. That is the color. It's quite nice looking, actually, but we don't know exactly if the color has been added or not. On the nose. Ooh. So this is definitely a peated malt. You know, we're not talking about Ardbeg, Lagavulin, Laphroaig peat. A little bit pulled back from that. Not quite as medicinal, a bit more earthy. Really spicy herbal sherry notes going on here. Bit of almost like a sulfur note. This is spicy. This is a kind of spicy herbal whiskey. Bit of oak cask, berries, wild red berries. That fresh peat, which is bringing in just a little bit of a honey note. All in all, it's pretty dense, it's spicy, it's crisp, it's pretty herbal. So I wouldn't actually put this too much in the sweetness range. This is more of a oak spice whiskey. All right, let's give this a taste. Neat. It's lunch. Wow, very, very interesting. Do one more neat sip here. Again, it arrives medium bodied with a nice, very rounded mouthfeel. Not very edgy or spicy initially. There is again, herbal spice to this. Kind of generic herbal spice. There's clove as well. That's one I can definitely pick out here. There's definitely kind of an allspice, almost like chai kind of note going on in here. And then you have these red fruits, dried red fruit, kind of like your, kind of Christmas spice, Christmas baking spice. with the dried red fruit, and then it goes into that finish. The bourbon cask part starts showing up. You get some nice kind of light milk chocolate, bit of vanilla, hints of butterscotch into a medium long finish. It's not a full sweet finish, a little bit tannic, but not very, not I wouldn't even describe it as dry, but it's got just a little bit. Okay. This is an interesting one. Let's put some water on this. Again, this is 46.3% ABV. I'm going to put 3 drops on. With an older whiskey, they're much more delicate. You could much more easily drown it, even at an integrity ABV. So you want to be a little bit careful. Start small. You can go large. Dried red fruits. Herbal spice. Clove. More clove than you pick up on the average whiskey, that's for sure. Clove, a little bit of chai. Maybe even just like some other bitter herbs, parsley perhaps. Interesting. A little bit of a cherry cola thing going on now. So it's got a little bit sweeter. Here we go. Medium body. Medium body gets richer as it develops. Dark fruit comes in, dry. Maybe hints of like perhaps even some white grape, that peat. Strong, fresh, not overpowering, very harmonious with the very herbal. I mean, as crazy as it sounds, there's like you could be fooled into getting a hint of that like wormwood absinthe thing in here. The sherry comes back, that bourbon cask notes into the finish. Slight citric, little minty. It's like a little more complexity with the water, but I think this is good either way to really get the experience of. Okay. Ledaig 18. Let's talk value. This is a fairly readily available bottle. In the US, Ledaig, not always easy to come by. You will definitely find the 10 before you find this, but this should be fine if you hunt around a little bit. If you do, whether you're online or in a shop, you're going to be looking anywhere from around $120 to $140 USD. Maybe you'll find it a little bit higher than that, but it's right around the average here in 2022. And honestly, a quite good price for an 18-year-old whiskey with this complexity. So speaking strictly of the value versus quality, I think this is a medium-high value. But let's talk a little bit more about, is this the right whiskey for you? And we'll do that in final thoughts, which we'll start right now. So first things first, I'm a big fan of Ledaig. I bought this in my earlier whiskey days. I've had this bottle for quite some time. I actually picked this up at the Whiskey Exchange in London and was very excited to get it. I have been nursing and sipping this for a while and enjoying the complexity. It is quite a ride. This is not a beginner whiskey. This could very well put off a lot of folks. I mean, even this anise note that I'm getting now. I mean, if you're not a fan of black licorice or anything like that, I mean, there is a lot of herbal forward notes in this whiskey that I think may not be the type of thing, if you're just getting a Scotch, that you're going to gravitate towards. It's a challenging dram. It's a rewarding dram in its complexity. It's also a very busy dram. And, I don't find myself super relaxed drinking this. I find myself a bit more like trying to figure out what's going on with all of these different notes and quite frankly, the uniqueness of the spirit itself. I'm not going to hold that against it. It is how they present their whiskey after all. Their Ledaig 10, which was one of my whiskey in my running for Whiskey of the Year a couple of years back, a bit more simple, bourbon cask only. Is this a step up in the to the next level? Yeah, I think it is. I just caution again, if you're just getting into single malts, and if you don't like kind of herbal, spicy, anise, clove driven spices. This is not the whiskey for you. If those things sound appealing, you'll really enjoy this. Taking all of that into consideration, I think this batch 3 in specific of the Ledaig 18 is quite a damn good whiskey. And at a price that I think is giving you really good value. This will really challenge, I think, even somebody who's been drinking single malt scotch for a long time. It'll definitely remind you what you like and you don't like about a whiskey. I'm going to give this a very, very solid 4 out of 5, which is that I do recommend you buy this with the caveats that I mentioned. I think that this is good enough with the value to give it a 4. Otherwise, in that 3.75 range. But this is a 4 out of 5 whiskey for me. I'm going to continue to enjoy this and explore this and learn a lot about my own palate as I drink it. And like I said, if this sounds appealing to you, keep your eyes out for Ledaig 18 from Tobermory. Let me know in the chat. Leave a comment. Have you had this whiskey before? What do you think about it? Have you had any of the newer batches? Is there a big difference? And as Winston the Whiskey Cat has come here to let me know it's time to chill, I'm going to kill this video right here. We'll see you next week with another whiskey review here on Malt Muser Whiskey Reviews. Sláinte mhath.